She was felicitated among 30 wonder women by Ministry of Women and Child Government of India and Twitter India. She is also a TEDx speaker. She has also been appointed as honorary advisor at BRICS CCI Young Leaders Forum for the session 2022-23. So many things to say about Madam, but without taking much time, I request Ma'am to deliver a lecture. Please unmute yourself, ma'am. It's a mute.
Sounds good. And good evening to everyone. I feel very honored and privileged to be part of this very important and I would say the kind of deliberations and discussions which are being organized by the Institute. I would like to congratulate the entire team for taking such initiative, for guiding the young students, the aspirants, for taking decisions in life, for helping them in deciding how should they move forward. So friends, not wasting much of time, I would like to come directly to the topic of today, in which I am going to discuss briefly about the UPSC Civil Services preparation. So we know that in India, even today, UPSC Civil Services examination is one of the most toughest examination in this country, and I belong to the 2008 batch. So before I start with my strategy, before I start formally with my experience as to how we can start the preparation, what are the important things to be kept in mind. So prior to that, I would just like to briefly mention about my own journey in 3-4 minutes. So friends, I am presently posted in Tripura Bhavan as Resident Commissioner, and I am 2008 batch. My family hails from Panipat, Haryana, and since my father he's a chartered accountant, so he set his own practice in Delhi. So I had the opportunity of having my entire education in Delhi. I completed my graduation in Commerce, BCom Honours from Shri Ram College of Commerce in 2003. Now, many of the aspirants, especially they generally ask me that was it my childhood dream to be in the civil services, or when did I actually think of what was the reason of me coming into civil services, and then how I started preparing. So, friends, I would just like to mention that unlike many other cases in which, because I also interact with various aspirants and students across the country, many of them have had this dream as in their childhood or when they are in school or even when they are in college. But frankly, till my graduation 3rd year, I had never thought of appearing in civil services. So I was doing my graduation in 2003 and I was also doing CS, Company Secretary course from ICSI. And second stage I had appeared for for CS examination, and I had given, I was in my 3rd year of graduation. I came across civil services. I read in one of the magazines, some competitive examination magazines. So when I read about this, it gave me a kick from inside. It actually forced me that I should try for civil services. This is something which will give me an opportunity to serve the nation and society. But then when I discussed this with my parents, my family, there were a lot of apprehensions. Firstly, because my earlier career plan was that since I was doing graduation in commerce and doing CS, and I had planned to be in private sector or set up my own practice in corporate legal. So that was a kind of a shift which was expected. Also, the most important apprehension was that civil services is so tough examination that at least 10 lakh of aspirants fill the prelims examination form, and the selection is in few hundred. And even after selection, it is not sure that which service you will get. After selection of service, it is not sure which cadre you will get. And then after your cadre allocation, etc., how will you settle your family and your professional life? How will you balance out that? And these thoughts were even more coming in the minds of my parents because I am a female. So friends, I'm talking way back about 2003. So as I mentioned that we belong from a small town called Panipat in Haryana. So while Haryana has so many positives to its credit, we also have had the issue of being the state which had been predominantly patriarchal, which had neglected its girl child and had an adverse which will justify the domestic front fully, which will enable the female to handle both the personal and professional front adequately to balance. So, but when I discussed this with my parents, there were a lot of debates, lot of discussion, and then my father said, "Ki okay, if you want to do, you should have a plan B in your life." So by plan B, he meant ki even if you think about joining civil services, if you don't clear, then what is it that you would be doing to pursue your aim in life? So I took his advice. So what I did was that I completed my graduation in 2003. I completed my CS in 2004, and in the same year I appeared for LLB entrance examination. So I took admission in law from Delhi University in 2004. In the same year I started my part-time job as a company secretary. My job was not having the compulsion to attend the office daily, but yes, of course, because I thought that I should also have some professional experience since I am a qualified company secretary. And of course, my entire focus was on civil services preparation. So from 2004 to 2007, these three things were parallel in my life. My focus was civil services preparation. I was also attending law classes, which was a regular course, and I was also doing part-time job. Things were not easy, lot of difficulties, lot of challenges, time management, making, determining your focus, how you are managing your other things in life, your social circle, and of course that was one thing which needed your constant motivation and your morale to be high. So all these things I faced, and I appeared for my first attempt in 2006. I wrote prelims, I wrote mains, but unfortunately I did not get my interview call. So when this happened, that was the first failure which I experienced in my life. Till before that, I never failed in any of the school or college examination. So I was very much demotivated, demoralized. I did not know that what should I do. But then when I recollected my own self, I gave a commitment that I would give my 100%. And I should not have any repentance that I did not give my 100%. So a kind of a self-quarantined life, the word which we have been hearing from past almost 2 years, quarantine, a kind of a self-quarantined life, and then lot of sacrifices, hard work, determination, support of my parents and family, and of course blessings of Almighty. I cleared this examination and the results came in May 2008, and I cleared with All India rank 13. So that day is still afresh in my memories, and I really feel blessed that I got this opportunity of being in the service through which I try to be connected to the masses, do something good for the society and the people, and serve the country. So friends, this was my journey as to how and when I cleared civil services. And after that, I joined my training academy, Labasna in Mussoorie. After that, our cadres were allocated. So I got Tripura cadre and I joined the cadre in 2009 June. I stayed there for almost more than 7 years and 7.5 years, and I did all my field postings in remote areas. When I was SDM, then I was ADC, OST, I was commissioner of the Agartala Municipal Council. So there were, and then of course I became the day one collector of district Gomti. I also handled Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan for a short time. and lot of learnings, because from a girl who had always stayed in the protective environment of her family to a woman who served in the remote corners of the country, I feel that my personality changed, my orientation, the way I looked at things in my life, they changed completely. And then after a few years, I came to Haryana on intercareer deputation. I worked in Haryana on various postings for around 4 years, and now I'm back to Tripura. I am serving as resident commissioner. So all these years have actually put in lot of challenges, lot of learnings, but still I feel civil services is one of the platforms which, if you have the genuine intent to serve the people, serve the society, definitely it gives diverse opportunities. So now, friends, without wasting much time, I'll directly come to the civil services UPSC civil services preparation strategy. So first and most important thing which you should keep in your mind is that why you want to join this civil services. Why you want to join civil services? The reason of identifying this is that this burning purpose, this burning drive will keep on motivating you when you are in your low phases of motivation, not only during preparation but also after you enter the service. So this thing should be clear in your mind कि मुझे civil services में क्यों आना है? Why is it that I want to be in civil services? What drives you? Identify what drives you. So what could be the concerned prawns? So you have to have this service gives charisma, this gives respect in the society, this gives an opportunity to work for the people, this gives diversity, job diversity, and of course working at the grassroots level, being connected with the people, and the happiness and the contentment, the satisfaction which you derive, when you are working in such conditions, when you are working with the people, I think that is still unparalleled. But it also comes with various challenges. There are various cons. For example, we have heard that officers are being frequently transferred, and it is not that officers can manage their transfers very easily. So once you are transferred, not only you, your entire family, and after you get married, your spouse, your kids, even your parents, they all have to have that adjustment. So it definitely affects your family life. We have heard that there are a lot of, at various stages, there are political interventions, political influences are there. And there is, I would say now, since the way society is working, there is a lot of dynamic paraphernalia. There is pressure from various groups, NGOs, civil society organizations, media, judiciary, and of course citizens at large. So this dynamic paraphernalia is also affecting the way the civil servants in the country are working. So the reason of why you want to be in civil services should be clear in your mind, so that you are able to sustain yourself in a drive and motivation. Now, before you start, one thing is very important, that what is it that you want to do should be clear. When is it that you want to do and how you will do. So what is your purpose? When is the timing? And how is the strategy, the action plan. So what, when and how, these three things are important for all of you to start preparation, not only for civil services, for any other competitive examination, for taking up any other higher studies course. So when we are talking about this starting, I would again reiterate one very important point, is having a plan B in life, having a fallback career option. So by plan B, I am not at all saying that you will not be clear. Definitely every year hundreds of students are clearing this examination, not only the UPSC examination but also the state civil services examination. So you definitely can be in the list, but just to have a realistic assessment that, for example, if you are investing your 2 to 3 years of your preparation time in this competitive examination, and if you don't clear, then the knowledge, the experience, which you are gaining, how will you use it? So this also should be clear that when you are investing your 2 to 3 prime years of your youth will all energy, resources, finances. So in terms of higher education, in terms of professional studies, what is it that you will do if you don't clear? And I would say it is more important for females to be financially, economically independent in life. So for that purpose, I would definitely like to request the female aspirants who are all willing to take this examination. If you are willing, please do not undermine yourself, that is definitely there, but also have a plan B, your fallback career option. Now friends, we'll come to when do we start? So what is the best time or age to start the UPSC preparations? Some aspirants are very much clear that they want to start preparation during the school time. I would just have a rider here that civil services examination, when you are preparing when you're preparing for prelims. So for example, just to have a cycle again reiterated here. So we have the first stage, which is preliminary, which is objective. Then there is a second stage for the aspirant, for the students who qualify the prelims, they will appear for the mains, which is a subjective written examination. And then those who qualify for the written, they will have to appear in the interview. Prelims is only qualifying, mains and interview are added for your final selection, and the total of both would determine your marks, your selection, your rank, everything. So if you are thinking about, for example, appearing for next year prelims, for example, June 23 prelims, if you are thinking about appearing at least 1 year prior to that, so now is it the right time to start preparing for your examination, to start preparing for the overall strategy, and then 1 year prior to prelims, and then 1 year is taken by the entire process. So from June 23 till your final selection in May or June 24, that entire year will take one cycle for prelims, mains and interview. So friends, at least 2 years if you are clearing in your first attempt. If you are not clearing in first attempt, then at least say 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, like that the time would take. So I would also advise you that please have a look at the UPSC website for notification of the syllabus. It will also mention about the age criteria. It will also mention about the number of attempts as per the category. So these are all very important. So if you are deciding that you will start studying in your school time, then at that time I would suggest that do not put in much effort for civil services preparation. You can just develop your orientation for subjects like history, polity, geography, international relations, general studies, and mental aptitude. So that you can do through reading newspapers, reading magazines. You should definitely brush up your NCRTs, develop a basic understanding of the issues which relate to our country and society. If you are starting during graduation, so if you're starting during graduation, so in addition to the above which I mentioned for the points during the school, you can also think about your optional. So what is the optional that you would like to take in mains? Because when I appeared in 2006 and 7, we had to take 2 optionals. So 2 optionals were there in mains, but for prelims there was 1 optional and 2 optionals in mains. So my optional in prelims was commerce, and my optional in mains was commerce and public administration. Now, of course, candidates need to take only 1 optional, that is during mains. In prelims, there is no optional study subject. So during that time, you can also start a little bit about your optional subject. If it is same as the stream in which you are doing your graduation, then it is good only, because you will definitely have an overall understanding. But if it is a new subject which you are trying to choose, then you can invest that time for reading the basics. For reading the basics, you can definitely have. And it is also important that you should not forget that even if you are appearing for civil services, for example, in next year or next to next year, so is there any other higher studies course which you would like to take? Is there any other examination which you like to take, or whether you would like to opt for any job? So now the third stage could be the post graduation. So similar case like me. So I started after my graduation. That was a post graduation in which I was doing my higher study. I was also doing my job, part time job. So it is very important during that stage that how you balance your time, the time management, because you have 24/7 in which you have to balance out each thing. I had to attend law classes, which was a regular course. I had to have that schedule for appearing for LLB examination. Then I had to do my job also, in which I had to visit the office sometimes. So all this is very important, as in how many hours you will be willing to spend, how many hours is available. And again, I would like to mention that see the UPSC website for the notification for the age criteria and number of attempts, and then only you decide कि आपको कब start करना है, right? So know the UPSC syllabus very well. Go through the. I would also like to suggest to my friends that go through the previous 3 years question papers just to know the exam pattern. So just to know the exam pattern. So now, for example, if you have to appear for the next year June 23 prelims, I would like to divide the time frame. So how I divide it, I take it as a 12-month strategy. So in phase 1, say from May to October, or say now we are in July. So July till October or November, there can be a combined study of overall foundation laying for prelims and mains, so that you get an orientation of what subjects are there, because there are few subjects which are also overlapping in prelims and mains. Then in phase 2, from say November, December onwards, you focus on entirely mains, because mains is very important after you clear your prelims. Mains is the most important. It has the highest marks weightage, and mains would actually decide whether you are selected or not in the final list. So then 3 to 4 months for mains, and then you come back to your prelims preparation, exclusive prelims preparation, almost 2 months prior to your prelims examination date. So usme you have your exclusive prelims, and then once you are writing your prelims, after your prelims exams are over, again focus on the mains examination study. Right. So this is the almost the 12-month breakup, which I generally suggest to the students. Initial few months for combined study, then 3 to 4 months for main study, then shift to prelims, and then after you appear for prelims, shift again to mains, and then of course after mains you have to have that interview preparation. Now friends, very quickly I would like to guide you stage wise for prelims, mains and interview. Prelims we know is an objective multiple choice test, CSAT as we know, and it tests your extensive knowledge. It has two papers. Both the subjects carry 200 marks, and subject 1 is the general studies, subject 2 is the aptitude test. And general studies may you have the important is the newspaper reading, current affairs. These are very important. And for aptitude test, your comprehension, logical reasoning ability, mental ability and numeracy up to class 10 level, that is written in the syllabus. So that is very important. And we just have to understand that prelims is only qualifying. The marks in prelims will not carry forward in your final selection. So prepare accordingly. If we talk about mains is the most important part of the entire civil service preparation. It is purely subjective. It has 7 papers. Each paper carry 250 marks. So 250 into 7 is 1750. Paper 1 is about essay. Paper 2 is history, heritage, geography. Paper 3 is governance, constitution, polity, social justice, international relations. Paper 4 is technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, etc. Paper 5 is your ethics, integrity and aptitude. This subject was not there when I had appeared for my examination. And then of course paper 6 and 7, which are the optional subject, which will be of your choice. It can be same as your graduation or it can be different also. So 3 or 4 important points about mains I would like to mention. That answer writing is very important. Unless and until you are able to write properly what you comprehend, what you understand about any topic, you won't be able to express yourself properly. So for mains, the most important thing is answer writing. For that purpose, there are both options available. You can also make your own notes for the purpose of revision, or if you are not making your own notes, there can be some way or some mechanism that when you are revising, you are able to recollect. So मैं क्या करती थी? What I used to do is that for my main notes, the main notes whichever I was studying, whether it was any book or any study material, I was having the strategy of say underlining the important points in the chapter, and then I was clubbing the important points in form of chits, either on the front page of the chapter or maybe after every 2-3 pages, so that when I am revising, I need not read the entire page. I am only reading the bullet points. So this strategy I have always followed, because once you are revising, you will not get, friends, the entire adequate time to revise the entire books. So बाद में क्या होगा? When you are revising repeatedly, you will just have to understand that this is the gist. And if a question is asked on that topic, you should be able to write it, express it in 5 marks also. You should be able to express it in 20 marks also. Of course, there are some topics जिसमें बड़ा question नहीं आ सकता है, but in general I am saying that your own notes making, your repeated revision, your answer writing, your expression, that is very important. So what you can do is that you can have a look at previous 3 years question paper, how they are formulating, and then you can also appear in some mock test. If you are not having any mock test facility, at least have some online test. Now there are various online platforms available. You can also access to them and have your online mock test also. Then I come to the interview part. Interview, friends, is of 275 marks, and it is the overall personality test, and it basically tries to test firstly your reason of coming into civil services. Why is it that you want to join civil services? What is it that you want to contribute when you are seeking to join civil services? Also, it tests your stress management. So your presence of mind, how you handle stress, your reaction to stress, your communication skills. These are all things which are being judged during the interview and the personality test. So few things are very important, that you prepare on your CV very well, your background, your educational qualifications, from where do you come, your hometown, your birthplace. If the place is different where you had educational qualifications, then something about that. If you are working, if you have been working, the place where you have been working, the field in which you have worked, something about your subject in the graduation, your hobbies, your anything important which is mentioned in your CV, in your biodata, that you should prepare. Also, it should be you should be clear, as in when they are asking that why you want to join civil services, and what is it that you would like to change. So all these things, all these questions should have very absolutely clear-cut replies in your mind. And it is also important to understand that we should not try and bluff in the interview. Do not bluff in the interview. If you are not confident of any answer, just politely admit that, sir and madam, I am sorry, I am not aware of this issue at present, but I would definitely update my knowledge after the interview is over. So do not enter into any argument. They are very well experienced people, very senior people, retired from various fields. So there is no point in entering into any argument. If you don't agree to any of their points, because sometimes it may happen that you may not agree. So your argument should be a well-reasoned one. You should have a well-reasoned point of view put across, right? So it is important to keep all these things in mind and stay grounded, be natural and stay grounded. This is important. And for interview also, you can appear in mock interview, you can appear in group discussions, you can have a small group in which 3-4 students, your friends, your colleagues, you are discussing about recent things, some debates, some discussions on the issues which are concerning our nation and society at present. So this was the friends stage-wise prelims, mains, and interview strategy which you can follow. I deliberately never tell or mention the name of any book because there are a lot of subjects which you have to study, and I don't feel appropriate to endorse any book in particular. Now, 2 or 3 general points I would like to mention for the aspirants, that not only civil services, whatever field you are choosing to move into, it will not be easy, and there will be phases of low motivation. You will be feeling demoralized. So it is important to have your analysis and assessment of your strengths and weaknesses. Know yourself well. Self-awareness is important, and therefore it is important that you understand that what is it that drives you, what is it that gives you that inner motivation, your inner zeal, your inner enthusiasm. That is very important. Of course, your self-discipline, your positive approach, your positive mindset, time management, balancing out your negatives in life, taking adequate break, and staying calm is very important. If you are demotivated, identify what gives you happiness. Maybe spending time with family, with friends. I can see the chat box also. Some aspirants are writing some questions. There are some common questions which students have been asking me. So I would just like to briefly discuss few. That some people ask me, aspirants ask me, ma'am, how many hours to study for this examination? Friends, I would not hesitate in saying ki you definitely need to put in lot of hard work and efforts, and there is no replacement to hard work. There is no replacement. There is nothing called as smart hard work. You have to work hard. So I would say at least 10 to 12 hours daily you should study. And once you are nearing your examination, so 14-15 hours per day, even 15-16 hours per day, you will need to study. For example, अगर prelims आने वाला है, उसके 2 महीने पहले से आपको इतना पढ़ना पड़ेगा. 14-15 घंटे एक दिन के आपको पढ़ने पड़ेंगे. So because the UPSC syllabus is so vast that you won't be otherwise able to cover all the topics. You have to read newspaper, you have to read magazine, you have to read subject. So lot of things have to be covered, and not only, and it is not that you will keep on reading new things till end. Of course, for current affairs you can read new things, but for subjects and all you need to have repeated revision for having a grasp over the topic. So how many hours to study for examination? Next thing is how to choose optional. So how to choose optional? Again, it can be same as you had in graduation, or it can be different. In my case, if one subject was same in my graduation, the other subject was new for me. So what could be the deciding factor? Deciding factor could be, some students say कि ये exam, ये paper scoring है, इस paper में selection नहीं होता है. I have never actually seen that kind of comparison. I always feel that you should have an interest in that particular subject, then only you will be able to, because you have to read that subject for at least 2 years. आप ये समझ लो अपने माइंड में कि आपको वो सब्जेक्ट में इंटरेस्ट नहीं आएगा तो आप उसको कंटिन्यू नहीं कर पाओगे prolonged. So you have to have your interest in the subject. You can also see whether that subject is contributing in any way towards maybe general studies, in prelims or mains examination. That also some students see whether it is contributing to your other preparation in civil services. Then what is the study material available, whether it is adequate or not, and you can just go through previous 2 to 3 years question paper just to get an idea of how they are asking, of what is it that they are asking, how the questions are being framed. So these things will definitely help you in preparing for your optional subject, in choosing your optional subject if there is a doubt. Now next thing is the medium of language or in UPSC. So friends, choose the language in which you can express yourself. Some aspirants ask me कि हिंदी medium candidates का selection उतना नहीं होता है जितना English medium का होता है. But friends, just due to this reason कि if you had your entire education in Hindi and ये सोच के कि हिंदी एग्जामिनेशन हिंदी बैकग्राउंड के एस्पिरेंट्स का सिलेक्शन कम है and you change your medium to English, so you won't be able to express yourself, you won't be able to justify what you are writing. So it is important कि your own grasp in the language, your own expression, that is the most important thing. Nothing, I don't think कि scoring, non-scoring is dependent on the language. Now friends, one important question which aspirants ask is coaching necessary? Do we need to attend coaching institutes, coaching classes for qualifying civil services? Friends, I definitely say that it depends entirely on your approach. It is your personal decisions. Some candidates feel more comfortable in coaching. For me, frankly, I never felt comfortable in coaching. I took only few selective coaching classes for the subject which were new to me, like general studies and all, but I never took coaching for the entire preparation. So coaching also needs to be seen that there is a good coaching class available in many of the towns or even in suburb areas. Not good coaching institutes are there. So it should not happen that you are unnecessarily you are wasting your time, money and resources in attending coaching classes. So just see the logistics, just see the costing also. And nowadays so many online options are available, online lectures are available. You can also have group studies if you have your group, in that you can discuss. So coaching is absolutely not necessary, but then of course it is your personal decision. Some students feel more comfortable in coaching, some may not feel comfortable. And then towards the last, before I end my deliberation, then I would definitely like to seek questions from the aspirants who have joined us today, that what if not you clear civil services, how to face failure. This is also very important to keep in mind. How to face failure, what if not civil services? Friends, success rate is not even 1% or hardly 1% of the aspirants who appear for the prelims examination. But you have to remember that this is not the end of the world. Backup career plan is very important. And when you are preparing for civil services, whether it is UPSC or state civil service, you gain so much of knowledge and experience during preparation. You can definitely put it to use in your other avenues. There are many avenues which are available wherein you can use this knowledge. And definitely friends, your idea of doing good for the nation, society can be done through maybe your setting up of an NGO in future, having associated with a civil society organization. You can contribute in implementation of the flagship programs of government like Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Swachh Bharat Mission, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, women empowerment, women rural self-help group, blood donation, save environment, say no to plastic campaign, drug trafficking. There are various flagship programs in which you can definitely contribute as a responsible citizen of the society. So I would just like to reiterate that being in civil services is definitely a blessing. It gives you lots of opportunities to work for the society and nation. But this is not end. So my plan B in life, some aspirants also ask me that what was your plan B? So my plan B was that if I don't get civil services, if I don't clear civil services, I would join maybe initially the corporate sector or set up my own practice as a company secretary. And then I would have my NGO or a civil society organization to serve the people and society. That was my plan B in life. So anyhow, but life definitely decides what we have to do, but you have to keep on giving your efforts. It is also important that 3 C's, I always say 4 P's and 3 C's. I would like to mention very briefly. 4 P's are passion, patience, perseverance and positive outlook. पैशन इज जुनून, आपको कुछ पाना है जिंदगी में. पेशेंस इसलिए जरूरी है कि वो हो सकता है आपको फर्स्ट टाइम में ना मिले. परसिवरेंस इसलिए ज्यादा जरूरी है कि आपको अपने एफर्ट्स को कंटिन्यू करना है एंड पॉजिटिव आउटलुक आपको माइंड में रखना है. And 3 C's, courage, conviction and consistency. These 3 are also very important. So 4 P's, 3 C's, aiming your goal in life and making them into achievable units, all this is very important. And you are the you of your dreams. आप ही अपने सपनों को रचते हैं और आप ही उन पे काम करके उनको साकार करते हैं. तो आपके सपने आपके खुद के हैं, उनको साकार करने की जिम्मेवारी भी आपकी ही है. गिव योर बेस्ट एंड make this world a better place through your own contribution. I think we all as responsible citizens should have this responsibility of contributing to the people and society. So I think with this already it's almost 45 minutes of the session. We can now take quickly some questions. I would request the moderator, if we have some questions, I would be very happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think you already addressed most of the questions in the comment box, but still I want to ask few questions from the aspirants. How to structure our answer in the main and essay preparation tips.
Okay, structuring answers in the mains and the essay preparation. Friends, as I also mentioned when I was discussing about main strategy, that for any topic you should have some brief outlines. So for example, some topic on maybe Indo-US relations, because recently or maybe whatever happened between Russia and Ukraine. Say there is some question of say 10 marks on Russia-Ukraine crisis, Russia-Ukraine war. So you should have the important points, 4 or 5 important points, and then you should actually formulate your answer. So therefore it is important that once you are preparing for your mains, your answer writing is very important. Then only your repeated answer writing will only help you in structuring and making the framework of your answers. And I would also like to mention to my friends that for essay preparation, it is very important that you devote initial 10 to 15 minutes for firstly understanding the topic, then choosing the topic, because at my time I think we had to write only one essay topic, but now they are asking 2 essay topics. So they have part 1, part 2, and जिसमें से you have to answer two essays. So you read the questions, you read the topics very clearly, and then you try and formulate, and then you draft as a rough structure. Do not just start writing the essay. आप उसमें टाइम दीजिए, 10 से 15 मिनट इन्वेस्ट कीजिए. Do not take pressure of time that you have to immediately start writing. That is not important. What is important is that you have an idea, you have your outline developed, that these are the 10 important things which I would like to cover in my essay. And then they can be they should be presented well. Even for mains, your presentation is very important. That for the important things in your lines, you can underline them, you can highlight them. I am not saying that everywhere there should be some diagram, but wherever possible, you have to improvise your presentation. That is also important for fetching good marks. So I think for essay, important thing is that you need to have your outline clear before you start attempting the essay topic, and then you have to once you start, even if in the middle you feel like it is going wrong, please try to change the direction, because there is no point in writing the entirely पूछ कुछ और रहा है और आपको बीच में realize हुआ कि हम उसको गलत लिख रहे हैं. आप उसको जैसा भी कोशिश करके उसको change कीजिए. And because essay also is very important for your marks in mains, and if you get good score in essay, it actually affects the entire score in your mains examination. So give adequate time to thinking, reasoning, making outline, making the structure, broad outlines, and then only start attempting the essay. I think this is the most important thing which we can, and of course repeated revision and practice answer writing, that is very important.
So next question, ma'am.
Yeah.
What is UPSC expecting from us? Everyone have their own point of view for the question while answering. So how to answer the question effectively?
No, actually, UPSC expecting from us, see, the point is that UPSC is not asking anything general. They may be asking anything general in few of the places, like essay I feel is general. Essay may there is no defined syllabus. But for any other topic, for prelims, mains, they have the defined syllabus. So UPSC is only expecting, like in any other examination, any other competitive examination or any post-graduation examination, the way you are writing the answer, it should be clear of what you are trying to convey. What is important is that they should understand कि आपको जो समझ में आ रहा है वो आप लिख पा रहे हो, and then it is also important that it should be clearly conveyed. Your thinking, your mindset should be clearly conveyed. That is also important. I think this is the thing, and do not think that every year they are changing the pattern. So they have to do something, because every year lack of aspirants are appearing, number of seats are limited. How do they introduce competition? How do they sustain that much of competition, right? So they will have to do something, but it is not that UPSC is haunting the students, nothing like that. They are just doing it for the sake of having that competitive spirit, having the right kind of people join in the service, the people who have that orientation to work for the masses and society. So I think once you start preparing, once you start writing, you will definitely understand what I am trying to say. And it is, in the end, it is your own experience. Nobody can give you 100% short formula. मेरा strategy कुछ और हो सकता है, आपका strategy definitely different होगा. Everybody would have a different strategy to follow. Do not worry on that. What is important is that we should have a very crystal clear way of expressing our mindset, our opinion. That is the most important thing.
So next question, ma'am.
Yeah.
Without getting into any institute, for the self-study aspirants, how they need to prepare the whole journey. I mean, like some tips for them. How to make their mindset that without institute also they can clear the exams.
Friends, I have seen every year many examples of aspirants that without going to any coaching institute or any formal coaching institute, they are not, they are clearing civil services. So 2-3 things are very important to keep in mind. Firstly, the material which you are reading, it can be an online material, all the regular books, or any coaching material which you have taken from somebody. The material should be correct, the material should be right, and then your own way of studying, your own strategy for studies, that is also very important. And no coaching institute can replace your efforts. That also is very important for you to understand. Nowadays, lot of material is available online. Online coaching nahi bhi hai, to online portals are there. You can always have a look. You can have a group of friends, if not big, then 3 or 4 or 5 friends. Why is it necessary is that you all can discuss your apprehensions, your doubts in between. because this preparation strategy is so long, the preparation time is so long that definitely everybody gets that low phases of motivation, low phases wherein one feels demoralized, demotivated. So it is important that we have a kind of a social ecosystem in which, you know, you are able to sustain your inner motivation. So for example, I would just like to mention briefly my case. I was studying at my home, and home में क्या है कि relatives also used to come, family functions, social occasions, festivals, and I was very much selfish about my time. And even if the relatives used to come, I was not actually meeting them. So then I used to have those criticism and taunt, not only to me but also to my parents. वो बोलते थे हिंदी में, I would like to say that पता नहीं ये अपनी बेटियों को, I have an elder sister and a younger brother. So my sister was that time doing CA, her CA professional course. So they used to say कि ये पता नहीं अपनी बेटियों को इतना क्यों पढ़ा रहे हैं, इनका ग्रेजुएशन हो गया तो अब इनकी शादी कर देनी चाहिए so that उनकी फैमिली लाइफ सेटल हो जाए. I'm talking about typical patriarchal mindset. So it is way back 2004-5. Now things have definitely changed too much in for positive. But now even today there are a lot of issues which we need to address. So then my father used to say to them that education is the gift which we can go give to our parents, to our students, to our children, and then it is up to them that how they want to utilize it. So when they used to say all this, it was an added responsibility on me कि हमको उनको proud करना है, उनका मान सम्मान बरकरार रखना है. And friends, believe me, when I cleared civil services, uh, all those people who were criticizing, who were raising questions about me pursuing higher education, they all called up and congratulated me and my parents, my father, कि हमें तो पता ही था कि बच्ची इतनी होनहार है कि उसका सिलेक्शन जरूर होगा. So what I mean to say is that you don't have to bother about others. You have to be focused. You have to be selfish in your time and decide your priorities. Decide your priorities in your life कि आपको किस टाइम में क्या करना है, आपको किस टाइम में क्या करके फायदा होगा, वो आपको डिसाइड करना है. So be your best judge. That much I can say. Right.
Shall we take up one more question if time permits?
Yeah, the last question we can take.
Yes, ma'am. It is important to take notes from newspaper daily, or can we just follow monthly magazines of institute? Which is the better option?
Can you please repeat the question? Sorry, I missed. The initial part I missed. Huh?
It is important to take notes from newspaper daily, or can we just follow monthly magazine of institute? Which is the best method, I mean, best option?
No, I think newspaper reading is important. I would not say that magazines can replace newspaper. See, what is it? Why I am saying is newspaper is important is that even if you don't give say 2 hours, at least 30 minutes you dedicate to newspaper reading, na you will get to know ki what is happening. And sometimes some news will come from sports column, sometimes some news will come from your editorial page. So once you start studying, you will get to know क्या पढ़ना है, क्या छोड़ना है. You did not read the entire newspaper. You will need to read only selected columns. For example, some newspaper may have some good article on some issue that can help you in your answer writing in your mails, in your essay. So magazines are also important, but they cannot replace the newspaper reading. That is my advice. But yes, of course, try and get an idea of what is relevant in the newspaper. You should not read the entire newspaper. That is not possible also, and you will not have that much of time also to study.
Yes, ma'am. We'll conclude the session, ma'am. First of all, thank you for the time today, ma'am. You clearly explained the overall strategy from prelims to main and to interview. when to start, how to proceed, and till the end you clearly explained that in detail. I'm sure all your experience, information and tips shared will help the students during their preparation. And also it was inspiring to hear about your experience in the UPSC journey. So you clearly explained from where you started, how you ended up. It's a motivation for many students. And in future we are looking forward to see more session, ma'am. Thank you so much. And also you explained all the 12-month strategy, and it will be useful for the fresh level aspirants and also already taken aspirants. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And my last message to the youth, to the young aspirants, that you are the pillars of our country. On your shoulder lies the responsibility of taking this nation forward. So my only request as part of administration is that whatever career and profession you choose, whether you become a civil servant, you become an entrepreneur, you join private sector, you set up an NGO, try and contribute towards nation building and society. Try and contribute to the welfare of people around you, people in the society, and the joy and satisfaction which that will give you is, friends, truly unparalleled. So आप जहाँ भी रहें, आप खुश रहें, stay healthy, stay happy, and keep contributing towards the nation. That is my request, my best wishes to all of you, and keep telling yourself that I can and I will, and give your best and realize your dreams. आपके सपने हैं, आपको भी साकार करने के लिए उसके लिए मेहनत करनी होगी. सपने आपके हैं तो उसको साकार करने के लिए भी मेहनत आप ही को करनी होगी. So my best wishes to all of you. Stay healthy, stay happy, and let us feel proud that we belong to India, and let us keep contributing towards nation building. Thank you so much for having me here. Jai Hind, Namaskar.
With that positive note, thank you so much, ma'am.
Right. Thank you so much. Best wishes.